Hi, this is Mr. Chu and welcome to my study room. Today I'm solving questions 24, 31 and 35 of the 2023 WASSCE General Mathematics Objective Paper written by Nigeria. I choose to put these three questions together because they appear to be under the same topic and they are similar, so we can apply similar understanding to all of them. Now let's start with question 24, and it reads: Mrs. Kebe stands at a distance of 110 meters away from a building of vertical height 58 meters. If Kebe is 2 meters tall, find the angle of elevation of the top of the building from her eye. Let's quickly start by identifying the key facts from this problem that will help us solve it. So the first thing I would like to look at is the fact that Mrs. Kebe stands at a distance of 110 meters from the building, and the vertical height of the building is 58 meters. And if Kebe is 2 meters tall, so Kebe is 2 meters tall, and then we have to find the angle of elevation of the top of the building from her eye level. I decided to underline the whole of this because it adds meaning to what we are going to do. Obviously, this question is an application of trigonometry or trigonometric ratios, so it will be advisable for us to sketch the problem, and let me do that quickly before I try to place the information into it. Right, so this will be the representation of our problem, where this is Mrs. Kebe, who is 2 meters tall. So let me write my 2 meters here. Then the question says she stands 110 meters away from the building. This is our building, and if she stands 110 meters away from the building, then 110 meters will be here, and then the building itself is 58 meters. So this is the building at 58 meters tall. Then this is the top of the building, and this will be the eye level of Mrs. Kebe. So the angle of elevation of the top of the building from her eye level will be here, theta. Let me cover this. Right. And now that is what we are solving for. So to be able to solve for this, we need to identify that this is the line of sight of Mrs. Kebe, which will have the same distance with this. So here will also be 110 meters. Then from there, the side that is directly facing the theta is called the opposite. Then the side that connects theta to the hypotenuse of the triangle is called adjacent. And by using the three basic trigonometric ratios, so K and 2, we see that this is sine equals opposite over hypotenuse, cos equals adjacent over hypotenuse, and then tan equals opposite over adjacent. So we will use tangent in this case. So the setup is going to be tan theta equals opposite. Remember, the 58 meters here is the height of the whole building, but now we are using only the triangular part of this diagram. So this new height here is going to be 58 minus the 2 meters, which is the height of Mrs. Kebe, and that will give her 56 meters. So that's what we are going to use for our calculation. So 56 divided by 110, which is the adjacent. And to calculate for theta, we need to take tan inverse of both sides. So by doing that, theta is going to be tan inverse of 56 divided by 110, and that will give us 26.9802. By looking at the answers here, it means that these have been rounded to the nearest whole number, so we are ending it on the 6 here. But since the next number is 9, we round it up to make approximately 27 degrees. Therefore, the answer to this question is B, 27 degrees. Let's move on to the next question, which is question 31. So question 31 says find the value of alpha in the equation. The cos of alpha plus 14 degrees equals the sine of 4 alpha plus 6 degrees. There are a number of ways we can solve this, but then I'm going to use two. And the first one, which is the shortest way of solving, is that we need to know this from trigonometry, that if the cos of a number equals the sine of another number, then it means that the two numbers are complementary, meaning that when you add them, you get 90 degrees. So simply put, it means that alpha plus 14 then plus 4 alpha plus 6 will be equal to 90 degrees, or whichever way you put it, 90 minus 1 will be equal to the other one. It's the same thing. So grouping like terms, you're going to get 5 alpha plus 20 is going to be 90. Subtracting 20 from both sides, you're going to get 5 alpha being equal to 90 minus 20 is 70. Then we divide both sides by 5, and alpha will be equal to 14, and that is option A. So this is the shortest way we can solve this. But then for those who would like to solve it another way, I will just do that quickly alternatively. So the second option is just the same as the first one, but I would say it's more or less like a bit slower, involving more steps than this. And that would be that if the cos of a number equal to the sine of another number, it means that the two numbers are complementary. And if you remember our trigonometric lessons well, we will understand that if cos A equal to sine B, then mean that the cos A can also be written as sine 90 minus A, or the sine B can be written as cos 90 minus A. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do that of cos, so that those who would like to try that of sine, they can try, but it's the same thing. So then I'm going to have sine of 90 minus A in this case is alpha plus 14. And that will be equal to sine of 4 alpha plus 6. So simplifying this, you're going to have sine of 90. To open this parenthesis, you know that this is -1 that is invisible. So -1 times alpha will be negative alpha. The -1 times 14 will be negative 14. And then that will be equal to sine 4 alpha plus 6. Simplifying further, you're going to have the sine of 90 and -14 are like terms. So 90 minus 14 is 76, minus alpha equals sine 4 alpha plus 6. Taking the sine inverse of both sides, that will take the signs away. So you're going to have 76 minus alpha being equal to 4 alpha plus 6. And grouping like terms, you're going to have 76 minus 6 being equal to 4 alpha plus alpha. That means 70 will be equal to 5 alpha. And dividing both sides by 5, alpha is going to be 14, which is the same as the answer we got here. But the first one is just very short, especially considering the fact that this is an objective or multiple choice question. You don't need to spend so much time doing this. And it's the same way instead of replacing the cos with sine here, you can also decide to replace the sign in the question, this part of it, with cos, so that it will be 90 minus 4 alpha plus 6, just like we did for this, and you're going to get the same thing. So you can try that as well. So with that, let's move on to the next question. And question 35 reads that the angle of elevation of the top of a vertical building from a point Z on the ground is 50 degrees. If the height of the building is 124 meters, find the distance from Z to the foot of the building. As usual, we'll try to identify the key fact that can help us solve this problem. And the very first thing we can identify from the question is that the angle of elevation of the top of the building is 50 degrees. And also the height of the building is 124 meters. And we have to find the distance from Z to the foot of the building. Right. Again, I said from the beginning that these three questions are connected in a way that they are under the same topic. So this is also another application of trigonometry or trig ratios. So we'll first go ahead and sketch our right triangle, which is mostly the case whenever it involves trig ratios. We have our right triangle. Let me just put my right angle here. Then let's now situate this information well. This obviously will be our building, and our point Z will be here. Then the height of the building is 124 meters, so that will be here, 124 meters here. And then you have to find the distance from Z to the foot of the building, so that will be here. Let's call it X. And the angle of elevation of the top of the building is 50 degrees. So let's put our 50 degrees here, because this is where it's supposed to be. Right. So if this is the acute angle given us, then this side of the triangle, just like the first one we did, will be opposite, and this will be adjacent. And using SOHCAHTOA, then we are going to use TOA, because that involves opposite and adjacent. So tan 50 will be equal to opposite is 124 divided by x, which is the adjacent. Then by cross multiplying, we're going to have x equals 124 divided by tan 50, and that will be 104.0484. And looking at the answers here, you can see that they've been rounded to the nearest hundredth or 2 decimal places. So this will be approximately, we are ending it on this, and that will be 104.05 meters. And when we look through the possible answers, that is going to be option A. And I hope this lesson has been of help to you. If yes, then kindly consider subscribing to this channel for more videos like this. Till we meet again in my study room. Bye bye.